So this should work now. Hopefully this is working. Okay. Okay, yeah, it's working. Okay, yeah, it's working. Just checking to see if everything is actually on point. I'm gonna grab something before I start this review. This is, of course, my live review of Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, which I just got done watching on all four. Give me 2 seconds. Leave me some comments in the chat if you want me to react to it. Don't forget to subscribe. Hope you like my channel. Sorry, that was rather cringe, but hello everyone. Yeah, I'm using G Fuel. I'm not sponsored, of course, but I don't even have, I don't even know. Don't have like the actual cup. If anyone wants to. No, I'm not gonna do that. Okay. Hello. Jesus. All right. I don't know if anyone came in. Just there. No one's on now, so no one can clarify. But yeah, I just made my G Fuel. I should have kept watch and told the stream that I was heading downstairs. I'm really sorry I didn't do that. Just in case anyone was wondering, where the fuck is this guy? People probably came in and were like, oh, he's off. Where is he? He's not even there. Okay, so let's get this started. Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. I've been watching it on 4 Demand, or all 4, and which is Channel 4's site, basically, that they have for like their shows and stuff. If you're a UK resident or an Irish resident, you can get it, but unfortunately for people in America or other countries, can't really access it. So I don't know how they're watching it, but over in the UK it's all 4. I'm not sure what it is for America if it is, but I imagine they've actually expanded on their stream, their capabilities to show it in different places like America and stuff. But like Rick and Morty, especially. But Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. Also nicknamed DHMIS, is this show that acts as a kind of, now this is my interpretation of it, it's not an official bio of it, but it acts as this preschool type show that basically is not what it seems. So basically it's this comedy series, it's basically given this childlike, colorful environment with disturbing themes. So you have three different characters called Red Guy, Yellow Guy, and Duck. I thought it was Green Guy, Yellow Guy, and yeah, it would make sense to call the red Guy anything else but Red Guy. I don't know what you call him, but the Red Guy is like the big, tall, stringy guy. Yellow Guy is the small kind of guy with like the what's it called? The it's not exactly a mohawk, a mullet, like he basically has a mullet. And Duck is just Duck. He's the green duck, basically. I didn't know what he was. I thought he was a bird, but he's a duck, which makes sense because ducks are green. But yeah, most of the series, like episode 1, starts off like in places like a work environment. So they have episodes like jobs, and a couple of different episodes like that. And they follow themes of like this whole thing of we're going to teach you lessons about this and stuff like that. They'll teach you lessons about like learning about stuff like family, which is, I believe, episode 4. No, it's episode 3. And then friendship. You have stuff like death, jobs, transport, and electricity. So jobs is the first one, death is second, family is third, episode 4 is friendship, transport is 5, and episode 6 is electricity. And I must say, I was expecting quite a bit going in because they originally had a YouTube series on the platform where it was like these kind of shorts. It started back in 2011 with their first one, where it was kind of this whole thing of ideas and creativity. Delved into like really dark themes of like art and death. It's crazy. If you haven't seen it, definitely go watch it. Just look for the first Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. It's genuinely messed up, but it's good. Like absolutely creative, as it would say. And the show follows a similar thing. While it acts as like this childlike show, it's very, very deceitful for anyone who doesn't know. But for people who know, they're going to understand what they're getting themselves through, but not at the same time. It delves into further themes, which I find very smart, like the whole case of the three characters. Mostly what they delve into is stuff with Duck and Yellow Guy. Which is very simple names. It's easy to follow, which is good. So it's and it's genuinely a lot of time easy to follow as well. But the premise is very deceitful. Again, if you haven't watched it, where and even if you have, you're gonna go in expecting some things that you'll be expecting things, but it will kind of exceed that. At least for me, I found that it was quite interesting. To be honest, it's a bit too late, I think. I was gonna get on music. I know I need to do the streams better a little bit, but I don't really post on YouTube. But yeah, by far my favorite character is Yellow Guy. I like all of them mostly. They're all quite interesting characters, but my favorite of them all is probably Yellow Guy or Red Guy. I like them both. So the spoiler side, for anyone who hasn't watched the series, click off now. But the whole thing about Duck, 3, 2, 1, is it delved into the premise of him dying, basically, which I found it very interesting. that it's delving into, like, it's piecing itself together with kind of mystery and like deeper plot lines, which I found interesting. I found like the story to bring flavor, and it has that kind of deep dive, which I love about series. If like a series has continuity and it has something deeper below the surface of the series, that kind of makes you think, or kind of makes you go, you know, it's there, and you can find it through the series, like little riddles, it or little kind of like clues. I find that very interesting, and that kind of is spread throughout the series. Like especially linked in with episode 2 and 6. Episode 2, like the first episode is kind of a taster. It talks about jobs where they get trapped inside in this work environment, and they all have to figure out how to get out. But they kind of just, you know, with most of the places, they don't really question it. They just kind of go about it. So a talking briefcase basically goes to them in the first episode at uni, like talks about workplaces and stuff like that. And they go into like this work environment, you know, a lot of different things happen, like especially with the you know, their lunchtime. They talk about like this whole thing with accidents, but they're like being happy that they don't get accidents. But lunchtime, they're like fed like black goop, which is meant to be coffee, hot restaurant style lasagna, even though it's not, and cigarettes. And you know, Duck goes through this thing where he's not, you know, appreciated in that workplace, or he's not even, you know, seen or established. And Red Guy's kind of the boss. So that's the first episode. Second one deals with, which is interesting and ties into the story, is Duck's death. So, like the whole thing, it talks about like dying and what happens, and you know, when someone passes away, which is very interesting. I did watch it when it was a tough time as well, so I found it sweet, but it was weird as well, because that's the kind of formula it goes with. It has this like sweet little message while being really, really out there and weird. So it talks about that, and basically they mourn Duck, his death and everything, and they sit there trying to figure it out. Like they're, you know, they go through the whole process. Oh, I wonder what it's like to die. Duck does, and then they go to a funeral, and you know, fun kind of shit ensues between the characters, and they work interesting, like weird but interesting and well off of each other in each episode. Like they just random shit they spout, but they all spout the same similar shit while being different, if that makes sense. But yeah, basically a new character comes in. The character that comes in is yeah, give me a second, because I don't know the characters off by heart. So episodes 2. Probably gonna give me season 1. So oh, okay. So it has the whole thing. Dude, hold on. Where is? Okay, so there's I don't know the character. He's some goopy thing, because it doesn't list it. I don't think, or at least I can't find it. So there's this new character that replaces like Duck. I was gonna call him Ducky, but he replaces him, and you know they morph him into a new Duck. And basically, what this character does is kill the original straight off. So there's that. Episode 4 really just follows, or episode 3, sorry, follows this whole thing about family and I'm just going through episodes basically at this point, but I'm giving small dialysis because I want to get to episode 6 because that's the most interesting. With episode 3, it talks about family, and how it gets into that dynamic is because they had this packet of family, like this packet of crisps they can't open, and they find out it's a family pack. So these two characters come in, basically twins come in, really creepy twins. And basically they make them question the reality on their, whether they're a unit or not. And basically they take them through that family dynamic. They take them to the house, a lot of creepy shit happens. So it's a weird episode for sure, that one. And yeah, at the end they just end up being able to open the family pack, and get in their crisps, and it's like 2 fucking crisps or chips. They're able to open it, and it's like 2 chips just sitting there. That's episode 3, very good. I think I'll give ratings for him afterwards. Episode 4 is about friendship. In this one, basically, they have this thing called Computer Day, where once a year they're able to go on the PC and they're able to look up different stuff. So Duck talks about checking up the dark web because he's like, I want to see a skeleton. Anyway, okay, I do not condone looking up the dark web, but that's what Duck wants to look up. The rest of them look up emails. Yellow guy looks up. Well, they all get emails. Duck first checks. Oh no, red guy sends Duck an email. Duck gets an email, responds, and obviously it's just sent through. But yellow guy checks, and basically he doesn't get anything. So they start insulting him. And then this worm comes in. He calls himself an eagle, but he's this worm who gets mocked, and he does this whole friendship thing, like I am with Friendship Limited or something like that. It's Warren. So the guy's name is Warren, and he basically shows everyone the meaning of friendship. In it, he goes through. He basically forget what happens again. Oh my god, he shows everyone the meaning of friendship, and in one scene, like people say nobody likes him, and then they start arguing with yellow guy, and he just becomes completely depressed. And he goes into his brain, and then he makes like brain friends. So he has like a load of different brain friends, and the whole message, because basically Worm bores the shit out of everyone by putting on his podcast when he's in the brain of yellow guy. They're all still like, it's a happy-go-lucky place, and he makes everyone listen to his like podcast and whatnot after them dancing and having fun. He's like, I want to link up my phone, listen to my podcast. He makes everyone depressed, and they all just piss off. I hope I don't have that influence on people. But yeah, he starts asking for friendship. And you can see yellow guy's face, it looks creepy because it starts getting more depressed, and they ask the computer questions, how do we help our friends? with the long face, so they type something in and basically gives them clues. Or says, "Oh, we'll check and see how you can help your friend. It seems he has a worm in his brain." So they take the worm out. And the message at the end is, everybody has a worm in their brain. Some may tell you not. It's actually a sweet message. People may tell you, it may tell you not to be confident, or it may tell you that you can't be an accountant. But, you know, fuck it. Because you gotta be who you wanna be, and you should be who you wanna be. Found it charming, but also very strange. But yeah, very interesting message. That's episode 4. Episode 5 then follows transport, because they basically want to get out of the house. Red guy's basically upset. He's like, "Oh, I'm sick of being in this house. I want to leave. All we do is sit here all day." And they just talk about where are they supposed to go. This train guy comes round who, you know, he starts dancing, and he takes this black stuff, as he calls it, I think. He starts drinking it, and he looks intoxicated. And he takes medicine, and he's like, "I use it to stop the dizziness." And they basically all start going in transport. It has this 2D look to it, which is cool. The visuals are very cool in this episode as well, especially in episode 4 as well. The last 3 are creatively very inclined, but episode they're most inclined. Episode 5 basically they want to travel, they want to leave, and it shows them leaving and traveling, and then at the end they basically get transported to like this bin site. And there's a lot of shit that goes on. Just a lot of fun shit that happens in their journey. But yeah, they travel to like this like, I forget what it's called, like this garbage site. I am awful. But yeah, they travel to that place, and then they suddenly just go home at the end of the series, and that's how it ends. And then episode 6 is about electricity. So this is the one that leads into episode 2. Episode 6 leads into this whole theme about electricity, and it's basically they meet electricity, the meter, and they find out which things in their house have wires. They find out about electricity, and yellow guy I found interesting. And I don't know if it's going to tie into the series, but he has batteries apparently. Because they asked the electricity meter, how are you running if you're not plugged into anything? And he goes, "I run off batteries." And they check, yellow guy, he runs off batteries as well, but his is old. And so they take the batteries out of the electricity meter. He suddenly becomes like highly intelligent and high, basically. It goes through this whole thing of him, you know, him becoming new or whatever. And he starts becoming intelligent. He's able to outwit everyone else in the house. And they basically say they want the old version of him back, because they're making him like, it's not normal for him to be like that apart, like from their standpoint. So it goes to this whole thing of that him going upstairs, yellow guy. He changes his appearance as well. He looks more well cut rather than having a mullet. Like, he has just a normal straight haircut. Just just looks well. Not saying mullets aren't well. Mullets, I had a mullet once. But yeah, he's basically his pupils change as well. He has like blue pupils, and he goes upstairs to find this room called the Big Boys room, and he finds the two of them, the two characters. They've got like really long noodle arms. So Bird and Red Guy, or Duck, sorry, I keep going on Bird, but Duck basically has long arms, and they're both intelligent, and they're like, we study 2 subjects at a time. If you can't keep up with that, just keep up, mate. You can't like, and then it gets into this whole thing of them being able to like do equations, find out equations, and he's like, I want out of this place. He leaves that, he goes to the bigger boys' room, where it's tests being made and stuff like that against this like thing. They're like, we don't know what this thing is, we're just making tests on it. And so he suggests running tests on both of them. And Red, he leaves the room, and I believe Duck suggests who's going first, and Red Guy, I believe, goes, yeah, you're not running tests on me, basically, don't touch me. So he leaves. And then we meet this new character, but before we meet the new character, they basically, like, they use so much electricity, they talk about, which I found very interesting. They talk about like using it for different things, but one thing that stood out to me was an urn, and it was the original urn from the episode 2. They brought that back, and basically he smashed it off the floor. So what that tells me is the original Duck is dead, and that is true. The original Duck is dead. As you saw in episode 2, if anyone's watched it or if you haven't. But basically, Duck dies in episode 2, the original Duck. And all the power cuts off. We see all the characters as well running past. Old characters, we see Clock, we see Toilet in Distress. You know, a load of different characters. One thing that stuck out, and how you know the original Duck died, which I'll get into, is basically like he has a TV that fell on his head. And the reason that's interesting is we meet this new character called Leslie, because the room is entitled Leslie. So it's very simple, really. So Yellow Guy goes into that room with Leslie, and basically starts, like, she plays the piano, and the thing about the image of like the thing where Duck's head was taken off, he was decapitated with a TV on top of his head. There was this house inside in Leslie's room with all the figures. So she seems like the one who pulls the strings. So Duck gets his head cut off, the figurine of Duck, and basically, I'm sorry, guys. So basically, Duck gets decapitated, and the funny thing about it is, she says that she pulls out a drawer and says, I have spares, and it's all Duck, basically, which I found extremely interesting. like the fact that Duck is the one, like, because Duck has died several times in the series, and the fact of it is, like, it tells you that, like, you wonder who the original Duck is, because Duck has died so many times in the series that you don't know who Duck is. So yeah, she pulls out a bunch of figures. None of the other characters have them though, because none of the other characters die. So that tells me if they die, you don't know what's going to happen. And it ends on a cliffhanger because basically, before I say that, they used so much electricity when they had the electric urn and stuff like that. They had a bunch of different items. They used up all the electricity for their stuff, because they started using electricity, and that's basically the main theme. And then the power goes out, and that's how they find the characters, by running around and seeing them all in distress. So it seems like Leslie is pulling the strings of the whole characters in the series. Leslie's design is, she seems like a patched up doll, but as I was saying, the whole interesting thing about it is Leslie gives this book to Yellow Guy, and Yellow Guy is still intelligent at this point, and she's like, you're going to want to show this to your friends. Yellow Guy then leaves to go downstairs to the two other characters. The power switches back on, and they, before he's able to say anything, they take the batteries out of Yellow Guy and put it back into electricity, the electric box, and basically he basically becomes dull again, essentially. And so he's like, because what he keeps doing is he keeps like shredding stuff. Like, he shreds stuff, he breaks stuff, he keeps throwing stuff away as well. That was another common theme in the episode as well. He threw stuff away. Like, he broke plates, he didn't care. He started shredding stuff, just breaking stuff and ruining stuff and trashing stuff. So what he does with the book, he basically grabs the book, or he brings the book and he's like, I'm going to shred this. And he shreds the book, and that's how it ends. That is the biggest fuck you and the cliffhanger. One of the biggest I've seen in a series, especially with something like that. I was expecting him to say something or them to look at the book. They all start smiling when they shred the book, and that's where it ends. And that is the last episode. So yeah, what we find out is Duck dies a lot, but Duck has replacements. My theory on it is, I'm coming to theories now. With the questions I'm asking are questions like, what is Duck's, what if Duck's run out? Duck basically runs out. She runs out of figures. She's not able to do it. What happens to Duck then? Does she get replacements? Like, what happens? Yellow Guy runs on batteries. How is that going to affect him? What was in that book? I want to find out what was in that book. Where are the characters gone? What happens to the characters? Do we get the intelligent Yellow Guy back? And where are the other two intelligent guys? And also Leslie as well. Where is that character? What is her purpose? Because I feel like she's pulling the strings, because she had this dollhouse that she put the characters in, and the characters, like, Duck's head fell off, and what instantly happened was Duck was lying on the floor, decapitated. I did mix up the scenes as well, so yeah. The decapitation happened after he saw the figures, and Leslie was like, you got to put this here. Uh, I will give you something if you fix up my dollhouse. It's basically like a dollhouse, and that's what Yellow Guy does inside in Leslie's room. And in Leslie's room, she starts playing piano, and I think she sings, but she starts playing piano, and that's all that's in there, a big light and piano. Um, the whole series is very interesting. There's a lot with it. It's definitely a watchable series. If you guys haven't seen it, I would highly request you to watch it. It has this whole kid theme, so if you could skip past that, the themes are quite interesting. Um, the first episode you'll watch it and be like, what the fuck? Um, from a standpoint of making sense. It does and it doesn't. There's some themes that do, and then some themes it's kind of chucked in as a like, what the hell? We're just gonna throw it in just for shits and gigs. But there is continuity there, which is very interesting, especially between the characters, Duck's character, and you know how things work in the house. Like even in episode 5, they got brought back home. Even though they were trying to travel, they got brought back home, and they're because they wanted to go to a new environment and a new home, and their new home was in a like a landfill site. I believe that's what it's called, a landfill site, basically, because they had left their house and they had transitioned to like almost like a real world. And by the way, Leslie is a real character as well. But they transitioned to a real world, but they instantly, and actually, oh, just thinking about it, actually, I believe from the last episode, yeah, it makes sense actually. That person at the start of episode 6, my belief is that's actually Leslie. So Leslie controls every single part of the Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared characters. All in all, ratings for the episodes. The series, I'm definitely going to give a solid 8, 8.5. It's quite solid. There is a lot more to be desired, but I really, really enjoyed it. So episode one, I would give. I know I should have done episodes first before the whole series. I'm kind of jumbled up. I don't write my stuff down. I just go off of it, and that's what the live video is. So episode one, I hope you guys can follow, by the way. If you can't follow properly, let me know down in the comments what you'd suggest, or if you can't follow. And sorry if you can't. I am trying to fill, I'm trying to fill as much as I can that I know off the top of my head, but also I read some stuff as well. So episode one, which is jobs. Interesting. I'm going to give that a solid 6, 6.5, or 7. Episode 2 would get a 7, 7.5. I'll give it a 7.5. Episode 3, it's probably in a way the weakest. I would say episode 1's probably weak enough, but episode 3, it doesn't really tie into anything. It's kind of a 5, 5.5 maybe, or just, yeah, I'll give it a 5.5. Episode 4 is good. That's around a 6, 6.5. Episode 5, interesting. I'll give it a 6.5, 7. I'll give it a 7. Then episode 6, strong contender, definitely a strong contender. Just with everything, gets an 8. Episode 6 is the strongest in my opinion because it fills in all the holes that the series has and all the things you wonder and questions probably asked. The series I like is a lot like Smiling Friends, if anyone's watched that. It has different animation styles, especially between different segments. Like I said, the last few episodes are probably the most creatively inclined. it's quite interesting what kind of style they go with, because where they could keep it a normal puppet show, they actually bring a lot of creativity in there. A lot of the script written and a lot of the dialogue is quite interesting. It's weird. It's interesting. Um, and the setting is simple. It gives off this childlike series. So it's a very interesting series. I'll definitely say that. My overall rating is an 8, or yeah, an 8, 7.5. So yeah, guys, that's gonna be my over review, my spoiler review. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comments if I missed anything, if you did enjoy this review, if you got any tips on how I should do reviews, what I should discuss next, what I should watch next. Let me know. I don't always do YouTube, and I'm not doing this full time, so don't expect, weekly uploads or anything like that. But I just said it once off. I do have to go now, guys. But thank you if you joined the stream. Love you very much and appreciate you. Like, comment, subscribe, peeps, and I will see you later. Bless everyone.